finally, I want to ask about same-sex marriage. I have Hugh Hewitt on my panel today. You did an interview with him earlier this week. I want to play an exchange with him that you had on same-sex marriage. Here it is.
This idea that a judge makes a ruling on Friday afternoon and Saturday morning same-sex marriage licenses are being given out, that's utter nonsense.
Would you counsel civil disobedience to county clerks?
Well, the point is, states would be in a position that their legislatures would have to go into session. They would have to create legislation that the governor would sign. If they don't, then there is not same-sex marriage in that state.
I just want to clarify. Are you advocating essentially nullification here by the states if the Supreme Court legalizes same-sex marriage?
I'm advocating an adherence to the Constitution. I'm really saying that there is a process to change the law, and it doesn't just involve one unilateral branch of government. Gosh, Chuck, when I was governor, I wish unilaterally I could have done some things as governor. With 90% Democrats in the legislature, it would have been much easier sledding for me if I could have just acted. And I'm sure the courts would like to act all by themselves. And I guarantee the legislature would like to act by themselves. But that's why the founders created this very cumbersome, tedious, sometimes disgustingly slow process of changing the law. The courts can't make a law. They can interpret one, they can invalidate one, but even then, as in the case of the Dred Scott decision in 1857 that said black people weren't human beings, Abraham Lincoln refused to adhere to that because he said it wasn't a just law.
But if the Supreme Court, on a Friday rules that basically overturns Roe v. Wade, makes abortion illegal in this country, would you support that, or do you think it has to go through the same process you just described?
Well, what I was describing to Hugh Hewitt, by the way, on the Friday afternoon, Saturday morning issue was a circuit court judge in Arkansas who late on the Friday afternoon, too late for anyone to file a stay or an appeal, issued a ruling, and the next morning county courthouses that were normally closed opened up to issue same-sex marriage license. And that's what I was saying. You can't just do that. It'd be like when the Supreme Court in my state issued an education funding ruling. We didn't start sending out checks the next day until the legislature met, changed the funding formula, made it constitutional, and I enforced it through the state's Department of Education. We have a process. We swear to uphold the Constitution. By gosh, I'm convinced a lot of people don't even know what the Constitution says when it comes to making law. But judges can't make law. That's judicial supremacy, and that is not constitutional.
All right, Governor Huckabee, I'm going to have to leave it there. I appreciate you coming on Meet the Press this morning. Stay safe on the almost campaign trail that you're on.
Thank you, Chuck.